how big was Wu-Tang though when you were a kid? Were you listening to it often?
Yeah, definitely. 36 Chambers. I mean, I remember when Fishscale came out. That was when I got into it. I was like 15,
Okay.
and
Okay.
Fishscale is so amazing. That record is crazy, ahead of its time.
Looking back on it now, do you still feel the same way?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's funny, like rap albums though, like are I love looking at all the features on them, more than the rock records because it's like it's just such a snapshot. Like Neo is on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
I
I haven't thought about him in years, but like it's very like 2005,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's a timestamp in
Yeah.
history. Yeah,
These indie rock records don't have 20 features on them like that.
they should though.
They should. I mean, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, I like featuring. I have a lot of people on my records.
Yeah,
Um,
I was gonna say you kind of implemented that in your own way, in your own
yeah. But I mean, it would
sense.
be cool someday to do like, I've always thought about doing that someday, like doing like a collaborative record or, some people do records where they have a different person sing every song, like they write and produce it all, but they have different singers come in.
Yeah.
I think that's something I'm going to do eventually.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool. Who's on your list that you'd like to have on your record to sing? Anybody.
Anybody.
Not just in the indie rock scene or anything like within this like this bubble, but expanding outwards. First of all, I'd like a couple names, some bigger names that you'd like to have on the album, and then some more laid back names in the indie rock.
I definitely like to work with Beck someday. Like
That's obtainable. You could do that right now. He's just, I mean, he's always around. I constantly see him. He's always, hey, when can I be on the podcast? I say, no. As soon as you explain what Odelay means, then we can talk. Before that, it's not happening. Sorry, bud.
Yeah. I don't know if you know Sedona. I have my next video, actually. She's featured on it, but I would love to do some songs with her. She's a really great singer. Um, my new record also features vocals from, it's like, I'm just finishing up a record now, actually. And it's featuring vocals from my friend Maddie Boyd, who her project is called Your Angel.
And she's been on the podcast, and I really recommend people who
Oh,
haven't
really?
heard her stuff. Yeah. She was on earlier this year. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, she sings on my new record, and we just shot a video. She's in that too, so I'm excited for that to come out.
She's very nice. And
Yeah.
that's gonna be awesome to hear,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Big fan of her over here. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. Where are you based? Are you based in West Coast?
Yeah, California. Yeah,
Oh,
Orange
nice.
County. So yeah.
Cool.
And you were over here for a time, correct?
I just moved back. Yeah, I was there for a year.
What was why'd you move over here initially, and then why did you move back?
I moved over there because sort of my base of all my friends and all of that, like they're all over there. And I was trying to move over there for years. And I moved back because logistically it made sense. I have like a lot of shows coming up in the next few months in New York.
Which is good. That's good.
Yeah, keep it busy over here. And then I'm going on tour in January, and then I'll probably move back there in March or April.
Okay, so you are planning on moving back.
Yeah, for sure. I love living over there.
What's better, East Coast or West?
I like them both, but like I grew up in New York and I lived in New York for like 9 years, so I just needed to change really bad.
Yeah.
I love having a car. I love going like food shopping and putting the things in my car. It's easier and it's simpler level. The streets are bigger. It's easier to drive around. Like I've been driving around in Manhattan already, and I'm like, oh my God, it's so stressful.
Oh, you got a car out there right now?
Yeah. I had a car in LA and I had a car here, and just the difference is crazy.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, like how much is it to park over there? Like where are you finding parking? Do you have to pay for a structure spot of however much a month?
I had a spot in the back of my house, believe it or not, so I got lucky. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was really lucky with that. But I lived in Echo Park, and parking around there wasn't too crazy, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had the exact opposite experience there.
Yeah.
just always just searching for something. Oh boy. But that moment when you do find something, oh my gosh, it's a high like no other. I'll tell you. It's like, oh my gosh, is this good? Like, is the sign good? And no permit parking? Oh man.
Yeah, I'm crazy about parallel parking. Like I'll make any spot work, no matter how small.
But I mean, first of all, have you ever hit anybody? Let's
No,
just start there.
I haven't actually. I like to do it when I have a friend because I have a friend come out and spot me in the back. But
Oh, you're
I
you
have this
you,
really
you got one
big
of these
car.
guys, the one of the backers, and then come up front.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. I
heat.
had this big Oldsmobile, so it was like a boat. It was just super long, and it was really hard to park. But like, I was just determined to make any parking spot work.
Has there been something that you just have to let go? That you're just like that. This is not working.
I would say 2 out of every 10 times I go for a spot like that. Doesn't work.
That's not bad. That's not bad. The
But
over
it
under
hurts.
on that
But it hurts. I don't want to let it go. It hurts.
keeps you up at night. Like, oh my gosh, that
Can't
one
sleep at night
spot.
about it. Yep. Yep.
Do you still have the Oldsmobile out there?
It's parked at a friend's place until I come back. But
Oh,
I'm
oh, oh,
debating.
in California. I thought you meant in. Or I was asking if you had it in New York, but
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah,
would have been baller too.
yeah. I do have a I do have a car here. Well, it's my parents' car, so I use that.
Good, good.
Yeah.
It's called saving the environment. So you're kind of
Yep.
doing everybody a favor. So
Yep.
what was your first car?
Um, the Oldsmobile is my first.
And
Yeah.
last. That's it, because it's gonna run forever.
I know. Yeah, it's like I'm debating having my friend whose house I parked at sell it for me,
Okay. Okay.
but I don't want to ask her. I don't know.
Did you buy it out here or over there?
I bought it out there.
Okay. Okay.
My,
Um,
my friend Ben, yeah, sold it to me for a pretty good price.
okay, good.
Yeah,
That's good. You get
yeah,
the homie discount,
that's
which
right.
is important. Yeah. Did you drive in New York? I mean before moving to LA initially?
Yeah, in high school,
Hmm.
drove around. Driving on Long Island is it's pretty easy compared to other places.
Way more mellow than like whatever Brooklyn or something like that, right?
Brooklyn, Manhattan takes the cake. It's the worst to drive in.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's just stressful and it's just not made for. It's not made for it. Like LA is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was walking around New York, I was in like the Harlem, and that was the only place the whole time like I was there, I was like, where would I park? Where would I park? Like that really stressed me out, because like I would not want to have a car where I live, if I ever lived there. And I was the only place I saw parking. I was like, okay, Harlem, that's it. That's the only place.
As you go more north, I feel like it just opens up more.
And I'm sorry to ask this, because I don't know. Is that more north than like the Manhattan and in Brooklyn and all that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like it's north of that. Yeah, Harlem, Inwood. Then you get up into Westchester territory, which is not upstate.
Okay. Got it.
People from there. I mean, people from there will tell you that it's not upstate. It's a whole thing.
It's this is a classic cafe kind of talk, or some guys eating a sandwich, and you're like, you're out of your mind.
Yep.
So what is it, like Auburn? Is that where it begins to be upstate?
I guess so. Yeah. I actually met someone from Westchester recently, and I was like, "Oh, that's upstate." And he was like, "No, no, 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 it's not upstate." But it's complicated because it's all land, right? It's all like,
Mhm.
where's the distinction? It's like Brooklyn into Long Island. It doesn't really like, you when it goes from Queens into Nassau County, it's like, is it suddenly Long Island then, or is like, you know, I mean, like geographically, like borough wise, you're going from Queens into Nassau County into Long Island, but it's confusing.
You gotta draw your own lines. You find what you think is right.
It's all
Yeah.
land. It's all the same. Like,
Mhm.
it's like
Mhm.
crossing over a state border or something.
Yeah. Yeah. We gotta get we gotta call it New Amsterdam again, so everybody could just figure it out that way. See, I know that, but I don't know and is Staten Island considered a borough in your eyes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. People mix up Long Island and Staten Island all the time. It's so funny. Like people will just kind of, I'll tell them where I'm from, and then next time they talk to me, they'll be like, "Oh, so you're from Staten Island, right?" And like, worlds apart, worlds difference. Mostly in size too. I mean, like Long Island is huge, and Staten Island is very very tiny compared.
It's pretty long, yes.
Yeah, and people, well, I mean, what they have in common is that people hate on both of them. People hate in Staten Island. People hate on Long Island. In New York, it's just a thing. So we have that.
Yeah, which is great. You gotta have that rivalry within your own city.
Yeah,
Yeah, to
but
make
Wu Tang, Staten Island.
yeah, that's right. And it's for the children, as we said before.
Yep.
Yeah. Mhm. There's been a lot of things about Wu-Tang coming out now. They have that thing on Hulu that like RZA makes, and there's also the Something Mikes, which is another documentary that has like a bunch of the members in it being
Yeah.
interviewed. I forgot without maybe Bumping Mics, something like that. It was on Showtime. I watched that one as well, and that was really good. I like that one. But
I
yeah,
my friend has a recording studio. Well, it's more of a friend of a friend. It has a recording studio in Chelsea, and I went there and I went into their big recording room. And they were like, "Hey, like Enter the 36 Chambers was actually recorded in here." I was like, "Whoa, that was pretty cool to go into."
that
I
is
mean,
that would be really cool.
I'm sure it's been renovated and stuff since, or maybe it hasn't. I don't know. It looked pretty old, but that
Because
was really cool.
that came out in like what, like 92 or 93?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't. That hasn't been that. I guess maybe it has been now, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long. That it's not that far away that they would have to really revamp it. You know?
Yeah. Well, the only thing is Manhattan. Things just the turnover in Manhattan of clubs and recording studios, and because the rent is so crazy, it's just so crazy
Yeah.
that maybe you never know. When things
Or
last a long time in Manhattan, it's like impressive.
it's a staple at that
When
point.
things last longer than like 20 years, you're like, wow.
Mm.
You know.
And 20 years is a long run time there, huh? It's like, oh shit, this is a landmark.
And any of the famous like New York City like 70s, 80s venues, CBGBs, Max's Kansas City, it's like it's just inevitable that a venue will change because the streets and the places around them are also changing too. So like it can't be like an arts place forever.
Right. It's like industry's gonna come in there as well, and there's gonna be a new whatever art
Yeah, like there
situation.
aren't venues in Midtown Manhattan. I mean there are, but they're not like the small venues that small rock bands would play.
Hmm. It's like more bigger names are coming through those
That
places.
Spy Theater or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nokia Theater.
Of course I know, dude. I'm from New York, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Staten Island or Long Island, both doesn't matter. It's interchangeable. That's how
Where
I
were you
see
from?
it. No, no, I'm from Orange County,
Oh,
California. So
oh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Nothing too on the. I mean, people know the name, but you know, it's not.
It's the Long Island of LA, I think.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? That's how it's gonna be coined now. It's Long Island of LA. Yeah,
It really is. Like, I don't know what else would be. Like, because Santa Monica is something else. San Bernardino, Inland Empire. It's not, I don't really think it's Long Island, but Orange County kind of has the vibe of Long
yeah,
Island.
yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're gonna leave it as what it is.
Yeah.
um, or do your parents still live in Long Island right now?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And they're gonna stay there forever. That's it. That's they've already moved there, and that's that.
Yeah, they're from here. They're born here.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So when did you move out of Long Island? Because I know that you went to Brooklyn, right? That's where you relocated to.
Yeah. So, like 2009, 2010, um, I moved to Brooklyn, lived there for basically until the pandemic. I was there for like 10 years.
So really, like no time at all. It's kind of quick in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of. I'm here. It's like, oh, I gotta move again.
It's a
Like,
blur, like the 10 years I was there. I'm like, what did I do?
yeah, just hung out, man. I'm just
Yeah,
hanging out.
played in some bands. Started Dark Tea, but
But I mean, so like really just sticking around, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
just not
Because
not
I
doing
didn't
anything.
release a record until 20. I guess when the EP came out in 2017. But I look back from like 2010 to 2017. I'm like, whoa, that is a long stretch. I was kind of figuring it out. I guess I was playing in smaller bands and
Sure, sure, sure. No, that is good though. You gotta build up to your solo. Yeah, which is
totally.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you join Rips with Austin Brown?
Yeah, so I joined Rips in let's see, 2013 sort of, and then we played from 2013 to 2017, and yeah, Austin he recorded our record. He used to go into the restaurant that we all worked at. The whole band worked at one restaurant together, and he would come in. He lived next door, and he would come in to eat, and I think it was the kind of thing where like, I would talk to the other guys at in the band and be like, why don't we just like, this is a good story. Like, we all work here. he seems to like us. Let's like ask him to record us. And I think actually he came to see us play because we played with his friends. Like we didn't even have to ask him. And then he actually suggested it. Like, hey, I'll record you guys. So that's kind of how that went down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really killer. Yeah.
It's
And
cool. Yeah, it's funny. It's like it's cool that it worked out like that.
yeah, to have Austin Brown behind you. I mean, that's nothing
Yeah.
to better. Parquet Courts will go down as one of the best bands of
sure.
this. Yeah. when we look back on it, for sure. I mean, the music that they're making, it's just insane.
And they don't stop. That's what I like about them. They keep doing record after record.
Yeah, and then they just had the new single that came out that was like recorded like around that time, like 2012 era, the Hey Bug one. I don't know if you listened to that yet, but it's great. It's fantastic, and
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
yeah, I suggest that other people check it out as well, the listeners, because it's really good. It's well worth a listen for sure. And
Cool.
I mean, Sean Yeaton, who's been on here, I mean, he's one of the best bassists ever.
Oh, he's so good. Yeah.
The stuff that he creates, like how does your mind get to that point, which is just insane. And I hope he comes back on so I can ask him that question directly and see what his answer is, because he's a very nice guy, very funny guy.
Yeah.
But that's a genuine question, so we'll see how he answers it. But anyways,
Yeah.
so I mean, was it you were in Rips until Dark Tea kind of took off?
Yeah, there's overlap. There's a little bit of overlap, but I think I was doing Dark Tea. It used to be called Legal Tender, actually. So I started playing shows as Legal Tender. I was younger, like 22, 23, and it was just kind of like a mess. I was like, I didn't have the right band. Like I would record songs and like trash them, and then like I was kind of like refining this idea, and then I changed the name to Dark Tea after a couple years, and then kind of got discouraged, really for no reason, and Rip started, and I was in a band, and then I sort of had some of my really good friends actually were kind of like pumping me up to like start doing a solo thing again. So it kind of like gave me the confidence, I guess, to do a solo project again, and yeah, I remember like I booked a recording day on 2016, and it was like a full moon. And I remember like I booked a recording day, and that was kind of like the true beginning of Dark Tea. And like a lot of that recording became the first EP, which came out in 2017.
Was that intentionally that you booked it on a day that had a full moon, or did it just coincidentally coincide with one another?
Yeah, I was really into Neil Young, and he would always record in the full moon. I would read about him doing that, and I thought that was really cool about giving the performance a certain life or something like that.
Yeah, he's
And
always yapping about the moon, man.
I know, yeah. I booked a lot of recording days on the full moon since that, including for this upcoming record I have. I'm still doing it, so
It's awesome. Do you
yeah.
believe that it does have an effect?
I really don't know. I mean, it must have some effect. I don't know exactly what, but it does something. It does
And you
something.
go, ah, shit, it's a crescent. That's why we didn't get that take the other night.
I know it's like you can't do everything on a full moon, right?
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's got to be like a crescent, maybe yeah, like one of those the half ones. I forget all the stages of the moon.
You know about Q Lazarus?
Q Lazarus, the musician,
Yeah.
the Goodbye Horses.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Jonathan Demme, I think she was driving.
Oh, Gary, you still there? Oh, we lost Gary. And it sounded like it's gonna be a good story. We'll get him again, hopefully. If it bounces back. Maybe not.
Can you hear me?
Oh, they are.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that. We lagged out.
Oh yeah. No, no problem.
Because my connection is unstable and it just said that. But anyways, I'm so sorry. It sounded like you're going into a really good story though. So yeah.
So Jonathan Demme was taking a taxi cab, and Q Lazarus was the taxi driver, and she was playing her music, and he was like, "What is this?" And she was like, "Oh, this is my music." And basically, he sort of discovered her, and he put "Goodbye Horses" and "Silence of the Lambs" and a few of his other movies. And she like never really recorded a record. Like she only has a couple songs, and she kind of like retired like pretty early, and like people were trying to track her down a couple of years ago for a long time, and I think she's a bus driver in Staten Island. Someone had tracked her down
Right now.
yeah, and she basically was like, I don't want don't even tell anyone that information. Like, I don't really want to. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I just want to live my life. Pretty crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I just learned about Sterling Morrison in his like post Velvet Underground kind of career as well. And it's just insane. I didn't know that he was
It's a professor, right? Was he an English teacher?
Yeah, he went and taught it. I'm not quite sure what the university was over there in Texas. I think it was based in Austin, and then he became a tugboat captain as well.
Right.
Crazy stuff. It's like you're in one of the most influential bands ever, and then he's like, no, I'm good. Like he stayed there after a tour, and he was just like, yeah, I'm just staying here. Like I don't care about New York at all.
I love there's a dramatic story of him quitting at the airport.
Yeah.
Where he opens up his guitar case and the guitar case is empty.
Yeah, and all his stuff was back at the hotel. Ooh.
And they're at the gate. He's like, hey, like that always sticks in my head. But yeah, he's from Long Island, or all of the Velvet Underground is from Long Island except for John Kill.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's very interesting.
I can't even imagine what it was like here when they grew up in the I guess in the 60s. Can't even imagine.
Yeah, late 50s, early 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, because Lou Reed got electroshock. I know, like, because they thought he was badly behaved or something, and
well, I think it's that they knew that he had homosexual tendencies, and they're like, we need to correct this, and that's in the maybe that was in the 50s, and then because the Velvet started in like whatever mid 60s, but
I can imagine that someone is the same after getting electroshock.
No, I don't think you would ever be, but I mean, thank goodness Lou Reed was the way he was, because we got some great stuff out of it.
That
Transformers song, amazing. But anyway, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
The song "Kill Your Sons"? He sings about getting electroshock in that song.
Really?
It's really dark. It's so dark.
Yeah. I mean, his like sense of humor was pretty dark as well. I mean, yeah, but that's just Lou Reed, and if you don't like Lou Reed, well, you're kidding yourself, because everybody likes Lou Reed. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Are you watching any good movies right now, as of recent?
I'm trying to think. I watched Dick Tracy recently. Dick Tracy's funny because like it came out right after Batman, so they got Danny Elfman to do the soundtrack. So it has like and then the movie takes place in this kind of fake city, so it has this like extremely Batman quality to it, but it came out 1 year after Tim Burton's Batman. And it even has a shot of Warren Beatty as Dick Tracy, like jumping through glass from below. It's like the same shot of Batman with the music that's like almost identical to Batman, but worth a watch, I'd say. It's not even a parody though. It's like a weird like approximation or like homage or something, but it's interesting. Like, yeah, Al Pacino's at his most over the top. The set design is like looks like it cost like $100 million to make. Everything's painted a certain color and like to be a comic book. And Madonna's acting is interesting. Like it was the couple of years where she acted a bunch.
Yeah. The good years of Madonna for sure.
A League of Their Own. She's in that.
The baseball one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny Elfman from Oingo Boingo. Do I have that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. Yeah, I never saw League of Their Own, but Tom Hanks as well, correct?
Yeah, my parents love that movie.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad one to love. I love Bachelor Party. That's my favorite Tom Hanks movie.
That was like his first, right? Or one of his first.
It was early on. It was early on. I'll tell you that. I remember.
Splash was one of his. I know Splash was like maybe his first leading role, actually.
Splash. I remember hearing I couldn't tell you what it is about at all.
It's about a mermaid.
Okay, that makes sense.
He falls in love with a mermaid.
Haven't we all been there? Yeah, sure.
Of course. I mean, I watched it because I made a mermaid music video, and I wanted some influences that weren't The Shape of Water. So I didn't watch The Shape of Water because it's too recent.
Was it about a mermaid, by the way, The Shape of Water? No?
It's not about a mermaid per se. It's about kind of a sea creature, but it has all the mermaid movie tropes.
Qualities to it. Quality traits of a mermaid in it.
But
it's not a mermaid.
They hit the same beats, like all those mermaid movies. like, someone falls in love with the mermaid, like, there's an evil mermaid catcher chasing them. They have to get put into a bathtub, and it's a secret. It's a secret from everyone. And then, the villain chases them to a dock. The mermaid, it's always the same. Like if you watch any of these movies, and then usually like the main character will go underwater with the mermaid and go live with them underwater. Somehow, yeah. Some kind of magic, mermaid magic.
This is all shaping up to be a great screenplay. I don't know if you've pitched this to anywhere, but I got a couple people down at Merrimack, so I'd love to take a meeting with you whenever you're ready.
Water. I think the door might be wide open.
Yeah. I think they're ready for it. I think they're ready for a mermaid movie. Anyways, you were watching Splash and you said this is Tom Hanks' greatest film, and then your parents said it's League of Their Own and don't forget it, and now I'm saying it's Bachelor Party. But anyways.
Or Captain Phillips or Sully, which is very confusing because those movies were made back to back, and it's the same kind of true story of a captain saving a ship or a boat, and they're both played by Tom Hanks, and they came out back to back. It's very confusing.
Captain Phillips was great, and I never saw Sully.
Same. I haven't seen Sully.
Okay. I did. Sorry, go ahead.
I was watching it. I was like, these movies not related. I was so confused that they got Tom Hanks to do both of those at the same time.
He's a busy guy. He's like, I'll take it, and I'll take that one too.
Yeah.
It's like they wrapped on Captain Phillips. It's like, okay, this has been a nice wrap party. I can have one beer because I got to go and start scouting and doing whatever like color tests and whatnot for Sully. Yeah. I did like in Captain Phillips though how like, because most movies just like end. It's like, okay, like he's safe. That's it. But I like how they went through like the whole. I was the what was it? Was it the Navy that was like following the ship? And spoiler alert to anybody, he survives. Yeah, he survives Captain Phillips. But when he gets on,
the best part of the movie is when he gets rescued and when they sort of have like a first responder who's like kind of taking care of him and he's all traumatized, and that's the best part of the movie. It's so real. Like his acting is so good, and I think they got a real first responder to do that. Like they got a real person who rescues hostages basically to do that scene, and it was kind of improvised. And
you explained that so well. Let me tell you, way better than I could have. Yes. I appreciate the synopsis of the ending. Anyways, that was my favorite part though.
That scene is really good. Yeah. It's funny because the guy that they got to play the pirate, I know they auditioned like 1 million people, but that actor has been popping up more, and he is actually in Good Time. If you've seen it, he's the Adventureland. He's the haunted house in Good Time with Robert Pattinson. He's the Adventureland guard who stumbles in on them in the haunted house. And it's funny to see that actor pop up, because I know they auditioned like 500 people or something to get the perfect Captain Phillips pirate. But that theme park, it turns out, is actually like behind my parents' house on Long Island. So Adventureland is very close to where I grew up.
That's rad. That's really cool. Yeah, and I remember he did do a great job. I haven't seen. You said it was called. What was the name of the movie?
It's called Good Time. It's the Safdie brothers movie that they made before Uncut Gems.
Okay, I saw Uncut Gems. How did you feel about it? I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it.
Oh, I thought it was great. I feel like I just understood that movie immediately as soon as I watched it. I was like, oh yeah, like I kind of get it, because one of my favorite movies is Killing of a Chinese Bookie. I don't know if you've seen that.
No. Who directed it? Who was the director?
John Cassavetes directed it, and
Cassavetes,
it's one of my favorite films. And I know the Safdie brothers love it too. And to me, Uncut Gems is very, very influenced by that movie. It's like it's a similar thing. You're kind of watching a man who whose gambling debts are sinking him, and you're just kind of like following him around, and he's doomed. Like you could just feel that he's kind of doomed. But
yeah.
But there's an art, or like there's something fascinating about the person who's trying to survive.
Sure, but it's like they're the fate of their own choosing, kind of. They brought themselves into this. I don't know about the death of the bookie, but I'm not quite sure about that one. But like obviously he's like keeps on getting himself into these situations, and I liked it as well. My brother hated it, and it kind of deterred me from watching it for a minute. He's like, I hated it, didn't like it. It was just so go, which it is. He wasn't wrong about that, but he just didn't like it. But yeah.
It's kind of what I imagine like It's kind of like a realistic character, though. I think Adam Sandler, and I think like that's like what a day in that character's life would be. And it's like there's an art in movie making of like creating a universe or something like that, creating like a I don't know. It really feels like authentic or something. That movie, it feels in a strange way. It creates this universe with this character, and like and the way this universe is like a nightmare for this guy. You know?
Much like 50 First Dates as well.
Yeah, yeah. Sandler is like I think about how lucky some actors are that they get to make like the money makers, and then they get to make the cool art film every once in a while. It's cool that they get to do both.
Yeah, it is. It is great, and he really kind of proved it way wrong. It's like, yeah, I do all these goofy movies that people like and people don't like, and I've been like, whatever, ostracized in a way, ostracized. I don't know if I'm saying that correct, but
Yeah,
in a way from making these quote unquote terrible movies, but I could also make a critically acclaimed movie.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think this is unrelated, but I think Jar Jar Binks. I think Star Wars needs to consider rebooting Jar Jar Binks in a serious way and try to maybe reclaim some of that.
I hear what you're saying. I can't comment on it. I haven't seen a lot of the Star Wars things, but it's
Yeah,
been popping up a lot, and it's really popular for a reason. So
yeah.
I'll tell Lucas, and then he'll tell Abrams or whoever's behind it now. Favreau, perhaps. I don't know. I don't really know who is behind this anymore. But yeah, we're gonna put you in the right line of people.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have you sit the writers' room, and you're gonna be pitching this stuff. No,
Sure, right.
it's a plot line, or there's a plot hole right there because
Yep.
XYZ. Yeah, and that's what everybody wants to hear.
Yep.
Yes. But where did your fascination with film come from? Where did this stem from?
My mother would always show me movies from the time I was young. I think I was like 8 or 9 years old. She would show me The Terminator, and like would cover my eyes when something was too violent or something. She just wanted me to see it. She wanted me to see it without like, showing me the stuff that was like too violent or whatever. So just from an early age, I was just watching a lot of movies. Yeah, I don't know. That's definitely where it started. Yeah.
Yeah. And was that the or the catalyst or transition to the cinematography that you kind of have honed in on in a sense? I'm not saying that it's your only fascination, but that is what you do often, correct?
It's funny, yeah. I only got into making videos again. I mean, in college, I had a little bit of it. I would do, I would shoot something here or there. But then I went my whole time in Brooklyn without shooting a single thing for 10 years. And then only in the last really 8 months or so have I gotten back into doing this sort of film. And it's funny that I hadn't before because, it's like anything, if you're well versed in the medium, meaning like if you've seen a lot of movies and like you can think about them critically and you can think about what makes a movie work and stuff like that, then you would probably have an easier time kind of getting into it. So yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with music, right? Like if you're a music fan, I think you're better equipped to make music based on what your
Sure.
influences are. And not that it's like a requirement, because like, there's a lot of music where people don't know how to play guitar at all, or, and there's something very pure about that too. But yeah, so definitely being a movie fan and growing up having watched a lot of films like has helped me kind of get back into it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what is your most favorite part about your most favorite? Yeah, the most favorite, not your favorite, but the very tip of the top for, on the scale of favorites for you when making something like that. Where is your what brings the most joy out of you? Like when it's finished or in making it, where is it?
Definitely making it, which is funny because when it comes to recording music, I actually find recording and mixing music and mastering, I actually kind of find it kind of painful. I like writing the song, but when it comes down to getting in the studio and making decisions and getting players and getting it mixed and getting it mastered, I actually can find that rather painful. But with filming, there's something about it where I guess setting up a shoot can be pretty stressful because there's a lot of choices you need to make. Location, you need to get someone to film it. You need to get a crew or a small crew. You need to get people to be in it. Need to get props, costumes. So setting all of that up is rather stressful. But once you're set up and you have a plan and like being there and filming it, is a really, really amazing feeling. Um, and like experimenting too, like, you know, not doing exactly what you have written out, but you know, you kind of you set yourself up to have all these elements. So that is really the best process, and editing it is rather fun too. But yeah, I think it's definitely like being there and creating something in the moment that just feels so great.
How
And then I'm proud of the videos I make too. Like once they're totally done and I watch them, very happy, very proud of them too. So that too.
mm, how important is a very like loose room to move within creative processes? Like how important is that to you?
Oh, I think it's super important because stuff just comes to you like, you know, in the moment. Like, um, you know, it's like with when it comes to making music videos or making short films, I like to listen to something over and over and over and over and over. And at a certain point, you could almost begin to just see what you want. Um, and then you know and then when it comes down to the moment where you're making it, you need to try a bunch of things in order to get that to get what you saw
Right,
on
right.
camera. um, and I think like being able to experiment in the moment is really cool, you know. I mean, and an example of this, like in film too, like David Lynch is a big like you know, he's experimenting. And in Twin Peaks, like I'm sure you know this, but like Bob, who's the main antagonist villain of the series, was an accident. Like he was a set designer, I think, and there's a shot where he was in the mirror by accident, and just from that moment, David Lynch was like, okay, that's a terrifying image of seeing, you know, just the small image of someone hiding there. And then he became, from that moment, became the main villain of the series. He became this evil spirit.
Right.
Like the smallest moment, the smallest amount of improvisation, like led the series on this huge turn, you know? And while I haven't had a moment like that yet making videos, there is a very kind of like free flowing atmosphere on the day of shooting that can lead to some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How I mean, because do you need something to work off of, like a basis of some sort to get something going?
Yeah, yeah, and the basis definitely is like the people that are in it, whoever's filming it, where it is, what are they wearing, what the props are. Um, so like it's like once you're in that realm, once you're like, you know, you have these almost like tools that you could sort of like play with. Then you're in a certain spot where you could start experimenting. But yeah, I mean, inspiration for filming stuff can just comes from anywhere. You know, like I'm driving and something pops in my head, or um, I mean, and the really frustrating, I mean, the most frustrating thing is when you think of what you could have done after the fact, after you've already filmed it. It's like anything you've done, you know, or same thing with music. It's like no matter what, it'll always happen where you're like, oh, this one thing could have been better if only I had thought of it in the moment, or if I'd you know, planned it out and thought it a step further. But you know, I think as you keep going, you get better at that, at
Yeah.
planning
How do
stuff.
you
Yeah,
how do you view artists re-recording an album? Like I know Taylor Swift is doing this, like she re-recorded one of her albums.
yeah.
How do you feel about that as an outside viewer? And could you see yourself doing that with the whole album? I mean, not maybe
Yeah,
not a whole album, but a couple of songs, perhaps.
I thought of that. Yeah, I mean, I had you know, I did the song Highway Mile, and then I actually re-recorded it. I had a new version of that come out recently. Um, yeah, I thought of that because I have older songs where I listened to them from 5 years ago, and my voice is kind of you know, it's not immature, but it's not like it's not you know, it's stronger now, my voice. So I think about like, you know, taking my best songs and doing like a greatest hits or whatever, but like all re-recorded versions of it. So I think it's cool. There's this folk musician Michael Hurley who I don't know if you know
Hmm.
him, but he has a song
Yeah.
called T Song that he records over and over. Like he's the song T Song, and there's like 10 versions of it on all these records. I think that's so cool that it's like you know, a recording is static, but a song is kind of this like ethereal thing that can always exist. And I think putting down different versions of it is really cool actually.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And Michael Hurley is really cool. For people who haven't heard him, definitely go check his discography out. Really cool stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Um, also, where did the name Dark Tea come from? Where does that stem from?
It comes from a book. There's a book called Dark Tea Time of the Soul by Douglas Adams, who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series.
Okay, gotcha.
So he did a different series called Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, and the sequel to that book is called The Dark Tea Time of the Soul. And I was a bit worried because I saw that like Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency was getting made into a Netflix show, and I was like, damn, like we're one step away from there being a Dark Tea Time of the Soul TV show. Not that it's like, you know, it can be a huge issue, but
you take them to court already. It's like, hey, I'll see you there, bud. Netflix.
yeah. I remember I was recording a bunch at the time, maybe 5-6 years ago, and I had the book on my shelf, and I kept looking at it, and I like the words together, and I would kind of record a lot like that. I mean, I still do. I look around the room and I see something, and it bounces off an idea in my head, and there's this subconscious idea and this subconscious line that comes out into a song. So that's always happening, but that was maybe one of the first times that it happened in the phrase dark tea. That's what I picked.
That's awesome, man. That is really cool. Are you a tea drinker or a coffee drinker? Which one do you lean towards more?
I like them both. Tea is a little boring to me, honestly, but it depends. But I mean, I love coffee. Absolutely. Tea is like more like when I'm sick. I associate it with like, oh, I have a sore throat, so I got to get some ginger and some lemon, which is like
healing.
Yeah, it's healing. I'm not. You'd think I'd like it more. Sometimes I like a nice black tea, like at night, get a little caffeine, because it's perfect because you don't get too much caffeine. It's like you get a little jump, but not enough that'll keep you up at night.
Yeah, you're not jittering.
Yeah,
I got you.
Because you get even late night coffee, I won't be able to sleep. It'll just ruin the next day. But tea sometimes, in the right moment, like a nice caffeinated tea, can be really good.
There's a remedy for drinking coffee late at night. So, it's going to ruin your next day. You just drink some more coffee when you feel tired the next day. That's a remedy for that.
Decaf, I guess. But decaf is kind of perverse, I think.
Why? That's the real question that,
It's like non-alcoholic beer or something.
Yeah. Yes.
I would rather just like drink something else.
Yeah.
Than like get the taste of coffee without getting the caffeine. Yeah.
You need the effect as well. Yeah. This is not, or else what are we doing here?
I know. Maybe someday that'll change, but
do you really perceive that as to be true? Do you think that you're gonna flip a switch and be like, you know what? Yeah, take some decaf.
I only say that based on the amount of times that I've switched in things in the past.
Okay.
Such as liking a movie. Like, do you ever watch a movie when you're 20 and then 5 years go by, you watch it again and you're like, man, I can't believe I like this movie, or I can't believe I dislike this movie and now I love it.
I'll tell you in 4 years if that is true, but as of right now, I've felt that way about other stuff as well. Yes, looking back on movies, yes, that has. I can't remember what movie it was. I thought it was a terrible movie though. Rewatched, and I was like, it's not as terrible. I was reluctant to see it again. Yeah,
your perspective just changes so much over time. Even with food, I find like if I have like a bad slice of pizza, I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna go one more time. I'll go again in like a year.
And how many times have you been correct? He's like, oh, this is a shit pizza.
A couple times I flipped. A couple times I flipped. Most of the time it'll confirm, but sometimes I'll like, I'll try anything like, twice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And then you're like, this is awful, or this is great.
Yep.
Yeah. What was the process like making I wrote this down so I didn't screw it up because I thought it was Highland Park Bell, but the Phantom of the Highland Park E Bell. See, I still screwed it up.
It's a mouthful, the name.
It is.
That process was really crazy. That was the most ambitious like film thing that I've done so far, and that was it was just a lot of work, and I'm really proud of it. But yeah, looking back on it, it's like it's funny when you start. I feel like every filmmaker, when they start out doing something like this, they talk about how when there's less of a crew, you end up doing more work. So with that movie, it's like I was designing the helmet. I wrote it. I was out there getting the props. I was like moving the props for like 3 days. I acted in it. I shot it with the camera. I picked up the camera. It's like I did the special effects for the movie. It's like the amount of things that I did for it is like insane for like And the thing is, like, a director is like such a loose term for like what directing is, or producing. You know, sometimes you're like, what even is it really? Um, but yeah, I mean, it's like I love getting to do it. It was such an amazing learning experience, like working with that amount of people, and like you know, we got all the props from Warner Brothers, so that was super legit to get to go and like pretend that, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm making an hour long like feature, you know. And then getting to screen it. So I mean, it was just such an amazing experience, and getting to work with Nick, and you know, Nick and I did the bulk of making the movie together. You know, um, yeah, it was such a fun process making that come to life, and I'm really proud looking back on it too, because I think at the time we were like, you know, how many bands do something like this, like make like a hour long like movie about like a record coming out. It's like almost unheard of, you know. It's like
Right.
not many people do it, so we really wanted to do something like a bit more ambitious. And it's funny because most of the movie still is actually music, like, you know, it's an hour long. There's maybe 10 to 15 minutes of story, and the rest is music. But yeah, it's like fun. We got to screen it in a theater. That was super fun. You know, Current Joys has a lot of popularity. So like both nights of the screenings were sold out. So getting to watch it twice, 2 nights in a row, like in a theater full of people, was so fun. And yeah, I can't wait to make another like feature like that again.
Yeah, so you really didn't feel a certain way about it at all. It's just like something that happened, clearly.
Yeah. Look, it was just a crazy experience looking back on it. Like,
Yeah. That's I was making a joke like you didn't give a shit about it. Clearly you do.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just something that I helped create that was sold out 2 nights. Nothing real special here. Nothing. Yeah.
It
Nothing
was
to write
really
home about.
acting for the first time was really wild. I've never acted before, so
Mhm.
that was really wild.
Yeah.
Not
How
only that,
many?
but writing the lines that I had to say and then acting, that was just crazy.
And you're like, who the fuck wrote this? This is horrible, right?
Yeah. We were practicing it over and over, because the first take of the movie is like a 4 minute long take, and I had a million lines, and I was like, it was very nerve wracking, but we got through it kind of. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then after that, after you got over that hump, was it like, okay, I know what to expect moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about it is that I got the trickiest part of my role out of the way, which was like, you know, I'm like, I did all this to make the movie and produce it and direct it. And now I need to act, and I need to do like a 4 or 5 minute long scene that I've never acted before. So it was a bit crazy to do that. But yeah, once I knocked that out, I could focus more on the other aspects of like making the thing, you know, just helping it run, because we didn't even really even had a crew. You know, like I always look at crews of music videos, and it's always about that long, but like ours is like really, there are only like maybe 6 people that were kind of working on it, you know, in addition to the cast. But
Hmm. Do you feel like it would be different if there was like a traditional, whatever the traditional amount of crew members working on this production would be? Like, let's say, I mean, like, what's the traditional for like a, let's say like a Michael Bay, like a really big blockbuster, like.
oh, I think it would be night and day. I think it'd be totally different. Yeah, actually, I did a music video recently that had like a bigger crew, and immediately it just didn't feel as good. I mean, I wasn't really in the creative aspect of this video for the first time, but yeah, immediately some things just didn't feel as good. Um, it wasn't even a huge production, but it's just like things start to get away from me a little bit once there's like a really big crew, you know. But I think a lot of successful movie making is from building the right team of people, you know. It's almost like a
Right.
heist, you know. You got to get like everyone has their roles, and you got to pick the best possible people to do it.
Right.
And
Right.
like depending on who you pick, that's if you could pull the heist off. You know, like it's crucial.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
building a team is kind of a big part of it.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. The analogy is perfect.
yeah,
It's spot on.
yeah.
Well, anyways, man, listen, I like to wrap this up with some promo, and we got a lot of stuff to promote here, man. So,
Yeah.
all right, so the people can find Dark T's music at darkt.bandcamp.com or at firetalkrex.com. Those are the two best places to find it, correct?
Yeah.
In your
Darkt.com also. My website's darkt.com.
perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So any of those three places is the place to go, correct?
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
streaming on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube, all
All of them.
that,
All of them.
all that jazz.
Yep.
And where can people watch the film if it's available? Is it available?
Yeah, the Phantom of the Highland Park eval is on YouTube actually. So if you type in that to YouTube, it'll come right up.
Looky there. So be sure to check that out. I didn't know that it was on there. I was kind of searching around for it, but
Yeah.
good to know. I was gonna ask it for myself, so not
Oh,
really more of you promoting it, just me getting to the bottom of it.
word.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad that we straightened it out though. And you're going on tour with Mr. Nicholas Radigan.
Yeah, January 18th is the first day of the tour. It kicks off in San Diego.
2022. Where's the first soda bar or what?
No, I should know the name. We're playing there 2 nights though, January 18th and 19th. But before that, I'm actually playing in Brooklyn at TVI on October 19th. And we're opening Shannon Lay.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shannon Lay, and great musician. She's also been on the podcast, and if you guys are in, and when was the date on that again?
That is October 19th at TVI. And
October 19th.
It's actually it's in Ridgewood, Queens. I said Brooklyn, but it's in Queens.
Look at you, Staten Island, Long Island, same. Come on, falling into your own trap. I believe that this should be out by then. So if it is, and you're checking the date, go check that out. It's gonna be a great concert. I could feel it. I could feel it from here in Orange County, in Richard Nixon's birthplace. And yeah, so that's jumping off January 18th though, 2022.
At the Music Box in San Diego.
2022. Doesn't that sound odd to hear? It feels weird to say.
Yep.
I have it written down here, which looks weird to write.
It's like a date you see in Blade Runner or something. Or
Sure. Absolutely.
Yep.
Or how people looked at like Back to the Future in whatever year that was, and they're like, oh, in like 2000 whatever, it was like 16 or something like that. Or he mentioned something that we already passed not too long ago though.
Yep.
And a lot of people didn't talk about Billy Joel's Miami 2017 in 2017. I'll tell you that. What's up with that?
You know where he's from?
He isn't he from well, I don't know about if it's upstate, but he's I know he lives in like the Hamptons. Okay, but he lives in the Hamptons now.
Yeah, he lives out there, and he also lives in on Center Island on Long Island, but he's actually from here.
You ever seen him?
No. I would love to just see him walking around.
Sure, that's always the best for sure.
He lives in the town. I live in this town, Huntington. He lives around there, and he's always going there. So matter of time.
Do we have the address or no? We gotta put it out there.
It's out there actually if you look it up. But yeah, he lives in Center Island on Long Island. So
okay, all right.
Heavily guarded. So
and then that's when he put together the heist.
Yep.
And that's where that falls into play.
And the goal was to just get him to listen to my record. It's not even to like steal anything.
Just to get the demos there, please. Just listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Gary. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I'll talk to you in a second. Wait, is there anything else we need to promote though before we cut you loose?
Yeah, Highway Mile: The Return. The video is out now. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yes, and it is very good.
Thanks.
I suggest everybody go listen to it. Thank you so much, Gary. I'll talk to you in a second. I'm gonna stop recording this. All right.
All right.
All right.